I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is All the Mods 10. So last episode, we did the unthinkable and we made the beautiful All the Mods Star. And typically you would use this star to, well, make creative items. But I was thinking, what if we actually use them to, well, make even more stars? That's definitely something to think about, right? But to do this, we need 17 more All the Mods Stars to be able to automate it. And thankfully, throughout this entire series, I had prepped myself for that very process, even though at the start I was questioning whether or not I was going to do it. But we definitely have enough resources to make even more stars. For example, I already have 2 of the stars made up. So if I go ahead and I request 16 more stars, look at all of our ingredients ready to go. That's right, because we easily have enough of the materials to craft and make all the remaining stars. But while this is crafting and doing its thing, we really need to focus on how we're going to actually get this whole thing set up. And that means more productive bees. That's right, you heard me right. We are going to be automating the All the Mods Stars today. And that first needs to start though with our productive bees. And we need to get the bees up and running. And first things first, well, we need to get ourselves a Patrick Star bee. Now the conversion kind of looks a little bit like this. We need to essentially have ourselves a Patrick bee, and we also need a Starry bee. Now, a Patrick bee can produce the Patrick stars, which would be kind of nice to also have. So having an abundance of the Patrick Star bees would probably be a good idea. But we need to fish this up from a warm ocean biome. Now, after locating a warm ocean, I decided to go ahead and build myself a little platform out here just to kind of rest and be able to farm these things. Now, some things I would recommend. Stingers. Have yourself some bee stingers on you just in case these come out and actually sting you. You want to be able to quickly put the stinger back on so that way these bees do not die. That's if you don't manage to catch them. Also, a honey treat. A honey treat will pacify the bee and make it not aggressive towards you as well. So it's another thing to definitely have. I do recommend having a nice fishing rod. This one is incredibly fast, as you can see when I cast this out, like how quick I'm able to just fish up things. Simply because it has some nice enchants, but also the Supremium fishing rod, just for some reason, is a whole lot better at fishing. But yes, the goal is to fish up a bee, and we should do that before long. It just, you never know, right? It could happen instantaneously. It could happen while I'm talking here. Oh, look, we got Neptune's bounty. And then it could happen whenever I'm not actually hitting the record button. I'm going to try my best to catch this. Oh boy, maybe next. Nope. Oh, there we go. There we go. There's the bee. So we pacify it with the honey treat and we collect it. And there we go. Oh, we did it. Before we head out, we got to see what's in this bounty. Let's see. Ooh, we got some Neptunium ingots. Very nice. And a message in the bottle. What does this read? Ooh, omit 1, Davy Jones' locker. Now, I think I want to catch at least another Starry bee. Now, unfortunately, to be able to have the Patrick bee actually produce the things that it's supposed to, like the comb, you do need also an All the Mods Star block for this. However, we do not need the Patrick Star bee to technically automate the production of the Patrick Stars. Keep in mind, we do have that fully automated with our forge, so it's actually not that big of a deal, honestly. But I would like to have one because eventually I would like to do this. It is going to require us, though, to make an entirely new All the Mods Star block, but that's after we have the actual Starry bee up and automated. So back to just fishing a little bit more to hopefully get myself another one. So now that I'm back and I have my other bee, oh boy, I think we have all the stars ready to go. All 18 of these bad boys ready to be crafted up into a star block. Oh, this is where the magic actually happens. Now, we can definitely convert these back and forth, but there we go. Quest complete, Starry bee. And we can place this on here. Oh, that looks so beautiful. Look at that. Look at all that hard work essentially paying off. Oh, it's so fun to see. All right, so now that we have this, we can go ahead and take one of our Patrick bees. Doesn't really matter at the moment. They are all the same, I think. And we can go ahead and spawn this one in. And then we can right click this and we now have the Starry bee, something I do not want to lose, by the way. So I'm going to put it right back in the cage. That is one expensive bee right there. And now that we have that Starry bee, well, we should be able to pokey gene sample it. At least I think so. And this also means that now that we have this star bee, we can place it inside of our system here. And I'm hoping that we can go ahead and do like the productivity upgrades, like, let's see, upgrades. We do productive bees upgrade. There we go. We'll take one of the productivity omega upgrades and then 3 of the pokey. Like, that's something that we should be able to easily manage. We'll throw that in there and then we'll put our Starry bee in here. Oh, it's so good to see this. And finally placing in our star block. And then, well, giving this a little bit of a push, you know, to get it up and running, right? And we probably also want to, on this bee, upgrade it. Like, as of right now, this bee is not on the high productivity. It might be a good idea to take this and maybe find one of those high productivities. There's high productivity gene samples. We'll take all 16 of those. And what I'm going to do is go combine them over here. I think I might actually have some inside of the storage, but that's going to index everything. And we should have more than enough in here. Yes, we 100% have ourselves a high productivity. Let's go ahead and grab that real quick. And yeah, we can pull our bee back out and place that down. Give that to the bee. Nice. So now we have a high productivity. Probably better to also get this to the max, which requires another setup in itself. But if we accelerate this quite a bit here, and even give it a little acceleration there. There we go. We're starting to see the combs, and we're also getting our gene samples out of it as well. All right, so let's go ahead over here. I think with the Starry bee, we do get 2 products. We get Nether Star shards, and we also get ATM shards. And so there's all of the shards that we're going to need. And we need to definitely store these in a safe spot. So I'm going to slap them right here and also here. And just add them to our storage network. These are just another thing that's going to get generated and sent to that. Oh, this is so good. Now, I do want a special place to eventually put all of my bees, but the primary thing right now, though, is finding those gene samples that are for the Starry bee. And there we go. There's already 4 of them ready to make more bees. And this right here is what it's all about. I mean, there we go. This should be enough to fill that entire hive. We just have to keep this running through, give it a little bit of a boosty boost, just like that. And before we know it, we are going to have a Starry egg in here. We just need more eggs. This is more and more chicken eggs. Very, very nice. So let's go ahead and get these bad boys in. The fact that we are making more of them like this is just absolutely ridiculous. Oh, wait, bee escaped. This is just a big bee, I think. Now, 2 of these bees were already on the high productivity line, so I'm able to just convert that one. And then might as well also on this one. By the way, these are the medium ones. Now that is on high. Beautiful. So there we go. All of our bees are set up, ready to go. And we just need to add them to the Starry bee container. And by the way, you can have 4 hives wrapped around a feeding slab. So technically we can have all 20 bees. I mean, that's something I probably want to have, probably even more than that. I don't know. I think I want to move the bees possibly into this area and have like the Starry bees specifically farming over here. Now, you didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you? Come on now. No. Now we have the bees and we have the material that the bees are making. So we now have the little star shards that the bees are making. But how do we actually turn these star shards into another star? Well, that's actually a good question, right? And it is going to require this right here, which is a multi-step process in order to produce this stuff. First, we need the lens of the killer. That is one of the things. Little interesting to automate. We are going to have to automate the sending of an item to be basically converted with the atomic reconstructor. And so we're going to need a lens of destruction. This is going to require a lens of color, so multi-stage processing right here. And then the lens of the color is going to require you to send a lens into the atomic reconstructor. So we have to have all of the lenses essentially being made with an atomic reconstructor. not super difficult to do, but definitely a process in itself. Now, some of the other things that we're going to have to worry about, right? By the way, we do get a couple of things we can craft with these shards, just so you know. But we do need to make all of these other components. So there's a star fragment, another star fragment, this one, and this one. So we have a top, a left, a right, and a bottom left, and a bottom right. Now, identifying all of these, we essentially need to take a look at each crafting recipe in their individual components that are broken down. So we start with the top, and I'm just going to go clockwise and setting all of our fragments right here. And then we also have the infused Patrick Star, which is another type of star that is going to require infused Dragon's Breath and all of the unobtainium components, and also mending enchantment books. And this right here is actually one of the easier steps that we're going to have to take. And this is why I set up all of these other multi-block machines, is, for example, this enchanter and such, so that way we can do this. And it makes it so easy. All we have to do is simply set a pattern in here for the Dragon's Breath, which we already have, and we already kept that in our mind when we originally built this. And we also need to make mending books. Now, the production of the mending books is kind of a process. You can see right here, it requires an experience rod and a supremium book in order to make. That's actually not the hard part. We need to progress through this right here, which becomes a little bit more of a challenge. Now, we do need the experience essence. You can see right here, and I'm already farming that, so we're really good there. We have to go through each of these tiers though. So yeah, all of the tiers of the books to get to mending for this final task. And then I think this is the one that we already have auto-craftable. Yep, for the unbreaking. So there we go. So there's all of our patterns that just allow us to make mending books right here. Keep in mind though, that can be tick accelerated over there. So yeah, I think we'll be more than fine. But let's take a look at all of these individual fragments, because this is where things get a little bit more interesting. So it's going to cost 48 of these star shards to produce one of the star fragments for each of the 5 sides. Now, a soul binding crystal is going to be one of the components that we're going to need to automate in our Hephaestus forge. And it's going to require a soul, a corrupt soul, and an enchanted soul. And to get all of these, I'm hoping that I can farm them in a very special way. Now, we've already gone through the process of getting a corrupt soul, and I actually caught that corrupt soul a while ago. And I caught this thing and put it inside of an imprisonment tool, and I was like, maybe I can spawn it in later. I think we can, but I'm going to actually try something different with it. And I want to try and imprison it inside of a containment jar and let my Drigme farm it. I think that would be incredibly cool if it can actually do that. Now, we already have a normal lost soul, but there is a new lost soul that we need to get, and that is the enchanted lost soul, which I think is a rare chance of dropping, because I do have some of them in my storage, possibly from a mob farm, and I'm not sure if this collects them at all. As far as I know, no, but we do have some. But the way that we can actually spawn one in naturally is by using a splash potion on them. So if I use a splash Ariel potion on this regular soul, like we should be able to get one just like that. Look at that. Now we have an enchanted lost soul that we can also potentially farm with our Drigme. So let's just go ahead and set this up. I'm going to use a Ender source jar right here to keep this constantly supplied with source. And I'll go ahead and activate this, place in my jars, and then all I have to do is spawn these in. And I hope they get captured. Oh, can these not go inside of a Drigme? Oh, they can. They can go in a Drigme jar. Okay. It just takes a moment. Please don't get lost underground. Okay, there it goes. And then last but not least, the corrupty one, which is kind of a pain. Please also don't get lost. And there it is. So now we have all of them in a jar. Let's go ahead and remove this. And we'll come back to this later. But I do want my Drigme to start farming. Oh, this is going to be so nice. To the Drigme farm we go. Ah, beautiful. All right, so let's start placing these in. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. And like I said, this should start producing them. Oh, it happened way too fast. Okay, that's awesome. Now to get these into the system, I'm going to use an import bus, and I'm going to make sure to filter that import bus to only allow these 3 items back into our system. Of course, we can add any item to this list if we want it to auto send, But yeah, most of these items I kind of want to just void. So with that set up, the production of these, very, very straightforward. And all we have to do now is go ahead and create a recipe for this that forgoes all of these things, but combines this right here into the recipe. And voila, we now have a Hephaestus Forge automation ready to go. And we just need to throw that into the pattern provider that we have over here. And bam, that is automated. Now, you thought that was easy. Okay, there's some other things that are going to be a little bit more complicated that we're going to need to go through, right? For example, this one right here, I think, the sea prism. Now, everything here is very, very straightforward. But the turtle scutes are not. And if you've ever farmed turtle scutes, you know that, well, to get them, technically, you can spawn in or you can go ahead and breed a couple of turtles. And then the baby, when it grows up, will produce a scute. That's how you actually get one. But we can use mystical agriculture. But to be able to get this mystical agriculture seed, you need a soul jar filled with turtles. Now, to use the soul extractor on it, we would need scutes. And there's one way we can do it. We can go ahead and swab a turtle, put it into a spawner, set it to only spawn babies, which is an option, and then wait for them to grow up to get scutes. Or I think we can also just, murder a bunch of turtles. Yes, and I think that might be the faster way. We'll say, though, the hard part might actually be just finding a turtle. Of course, your best bet is to probably look for beach biomes, as that's where you're going to have the highest likelihood of actually finding a turtle. I wonder, though, if there is a way to spawn in turtles somehow. Now, wait a minute. I actually might be onto something here with the potential way to spawn this mob in. Can we use the advanced polymorphic one to do this? Now, I am going to need to collect some of the polymorphic fluid right here, which we are automating and have it automatically produced. I'm wondering if we could potentially use this to convert some passive mobs, and one of those being maybe a turtle. For example, can I convert this sheep right here into another mob? Like, we should be able to, right? Well, let's not hurt it. There's a dolphin. Oh, there's a wandering trader, a villager, a bunny. Oh, that's going to make it really hard. Yes, you can see that this does convert mobs. Can I click you? What? Okay, I can't click there. Okay, there's a squid, a tadpole, a fox. That makes it really hard, doesn't it? Come back here, you fiend. I can't click on this to save my life. Okay, so apparently this might be a little bit harder than I thought. But knowing that villagers are on this list, does that mean we can convert the villagers if they don't have a trade, maybe? There's a panda. The rabbits I can't click on. So if they convert to a rabbit, then they're done. Oh, no, I can. Oh, we're getting there. We got a bee, a frog. There's a parrot. It's just hitting their hitbox is very hard. Come on, give me the thing I need. This thing's hitbox must be, very painful as well. Come on. Yeah, I don't know. It may be just faster to find an actual... Quit hitting stuff. It might be faster to actually just find a turtle in the wild. No! I know, you're probably screaming at me right now. Chosen, just put them in a hole. And you know what? I will oblige. Wow, once they are a fox, it is really hard to convert them again. Okay, so they never convert after they go full fox. And you know what? Turtle may not even be in the roll pool here. But they keep turning into foxes. Oh my gosh, it's just forever fox. Tadpole, fox, fox with emerald in its mouth. Oh my gosh, a pufferfish. I guess there's just so many variants of fox, it makes sense that it keeps rolling to it. Oh, it could also be that it's like targeting a specific mob, because whenever you go into this setting, you can have it target specific ones. So if you don't do that, okay, then it should just randomize. So let's try this again now that I have that knowledge. Okay, pig. It is definitely rotating through the mobs. Maybe you need a bigger hole. Oh, there's a bat. Wait, what? No turtles so far, though, which is interesting, but it should be in the list, right? Ah! There's so many mobs. And we're gonna end up killing the poor thing. An axolotl! Oh, there's so many mobs. Yeah, I feel like the turtle may not be in the list, unfortunately. Wait, what? It died and I still managed to convert it. Oh my gosh, there's so many mobs. Oh, they're 100%. Turtle is in the list. Turtle's in the list. Oh, I swapped it. I got it. I got it. Ah! Before it dies. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and finish it off. There we go. Okay, now to fill soul jars with this, it is going to require another step. So now for the fun part, actually making the turtle. Ah, yes. Okay, so let's go to our chicken spawner real quick. We'll get a couple of chickens here. Give them a good boop. Beautiful. And we should have a turtle egg laying around. Nice. And now time to make ourselves an egg. Now, before we do this, we do need to use a Solium dagger. And I'm probably going to want to enchant this to make it a little bit easier for me to take these out. We do not want knowledge of the ages, I don't think. I mean, I want just really sharpness, honestly. But we're going to be taking out turtles. I mean, I guess they have a lot of health. So, let's see. Knowledge of the ages enemy drops directly is converted into experience. You know what? It doesn't really matter too much if we do this. Is there anything else in here? Comb cutter, frostbite. We'll see. We'll see if this is going to work. It did not give me any more damage. We're still at like 7 damage here, but our goal is to fill up these soul jars. So let's go ahead and let's first get a swab here. And I think I want to make sure that I get at least one witch swabbed. There we go. When I convert my spawners, I always want to make sure that I still have a replacement for that mob when I do exchange it. But there we go. And we will spawn some turtles. And now the goal is to fill up this jar after taking them out. This is the most harmful thing I could be possibly doing today. Oh, look at them flail their arms around. And you can see right here, it is filling up the soul jar. So yeah, just let them spawn and slowly but surely take them out one by one. Ah, yes. And you can see it is starting to fill up those soul jars. You can't be letting you escape. Don't think you're going anywhere fancy. There we go. Oh, man, I totally didn't even realize I had all of my jars filled up. I got kind of carried away here. Having too much fun, honestly, trying the jump crit strat here. There we go. Beautiful. We now have ourselves some turtle seeds. And you know where the turtle seeds need to go? Yeah, right down into the sewer. And let's hope that nothing diabolical happens in doing so. But now with that out of the way, we should easily be able to make a Terra Stomp Prism. We also need that Sea Prism. That's one of the ones that was a little bit harder. The Smelter Prism, this one we have easily all of the stuff for, so that's actually not difficult to do at all. And then last but not least, the Wind Prism. Now this one does require a little bit more to do because we do need a way to get bat wings. Now what I'm thinking is we could just potentially use, well, a bat inside of a containment jar. Yet again, using our Drigmies for this. To spawn a bat, well, I did actually happen to swab a bat. So if we take a look through our DNA here, there we go. We actually have a bat spawn egg. And I'm hoping that we can get this contained quick enough. I'm going to go ahead and run this. I'm actually going to tick accelerate this to maybe make it faster in catching it. Doesn't seem like that worked very well. I can't let this thing out of my sight. Let's see. Industrial foregoing. Maybe we can get the mob imprisonment tool and I can capture this and come here. It's so, their hitboxes are so tiny. Come here. I need you to fly into here. I need you in this area. There we go. And now we have it in here. Now, once it's in here, we can use a swab just in case we ever need one again. I do recommend always just re-swabbing. I love that you can swab the mobs once they're inside the containment jars. And yet again, this is just one of the mobs that just is a little bit easier to just simply have in this farm. And there we go. Just to kind of prove that this actually works, I went ahead and accelerated the Drigmies a little bit just so they kind of went and focused on their drops. And the bat wings is actually one of the things that it will drop in here. So just like before, I just need to pop into here and add that wing to the drop list. So now that all of those items are essentially up and automatable, it's going to be easier for us to define these patterns. So let's go ahead and make the Terra Stomp Prism. By the way, these prisms actually have a cool use in the fact that they kind of work like the Eternal Stella, where you can apply them to your tools, and each one of these sort of give them some different effects. I'm pretty sure the Smelter Prism, for example, will auto smelt, kind of like the Blaze Gold tier of the Just Dire Things tools. You also have like the Whirlwind. I'm pretty sure the Terra Stomp Prism kind of makes it like a hammer, where it like can mine in a 3x3. There's just some pretty cool things that these do. They don't really describe them very well when you just hover over the item in JEI, but yeah, that's kind of always been the case with this mod. The documentation has kind of been meh. It really feels like each year I'm like, maybe one day we'll have some really good documentation on this mod. Maybe one day. But without further ado, let's go ahead and define these items. We'll go ahead and clear out the fluids. We don't need those. And we slowly but surely need to get all of these encoded and placed over into our automatic Hephaestus Forge. And then we just need to worry about a few other final pieces, which are essentially just combining these items inside of our Star Forge. And now you can really start to see why the name is what it is. We are literally forging a star together. And of course, we can't forget to get the good old Patrick Star set up and ready to go. And I love how last episode, I literally removed this from being an extended version to now needing the extended version back. That is hilarious. Just got to make sure, there we go, blocking mode, and we're good to go. Now we have even more slots because we are going to need one more slot. And actually, you know what? We could have just gotten away with just removing the standard star because we're not going to need that recipe anymore. And instead, we're going to be replacing that with the new star that we're going to be using. Now, I think I can go ahead and already process this by creating the pattern for this right here. And this is exactly what it's going to look like, and it will request all of the items. But we still have one more thing left to do. Let's go ahead and put our star in there. And that is, well, we need to get all of those lenses. Now, I couldn't think of a better place to put a setup for the atomic reconstructors than this area right here inside of our under tech. And I think I want to place them right here. We already have the AE cables ready to go for this. And I'm going to show you a cool way that you can actually automate these atomic reconstructors. Now, it looks like in our setup, we only need 2 of the atomic reconstructors. Now, once you place them down, it is best to use a torch on them to put them into pulse mode. And then once it's in pulse mode, we can use a pressure plate to activate this actually running. Now, what I want to do is use a collector. So we can use, for example, like an advanced item collector. I think this will be a great option here. And with the advanced item collector directly above this, we could probably put some sort of barrel. I think that would be a good idea. We can do like barrels up here, maybe 2 blocks up, like so. There we go. And then a pattern provider on top to send the ingredients in here. And then we can go into foregoing or going, which is kind of the best way to look at this. And we can use a world transporter. So what this is going to do is it's going to send the items into here. It's going to drop this right onto the plate. And that is all we really need to activate it. Now, to pick the items back up, this is where we will use an advanced item collector. And then we're going to use it on the very specific item that we want. Now, to go ahead and define this, let's go ahead and make a couple of patterns and then also get a gate so that way we can give this some power. And so with that powered, just like that, what we can do is toss in our lens, which is the operation we're going to be doing, and that got converted. So on our actual advanced item collector, we want to make sure that is set to whitelist. And then we're going to say, hey, only pick up this particular item from this area. And that range is just fine for this. It's going to pick it up and send it back in the pattern provider. And what this is going to allow us to do is use locking mode. So lock crafting until primary result is returned. That way it only sends one item into the barrel. That barrel then will spit that one item out. The collector will then collect the product and the entire setup will continue on. I think this is a very reasonable method for automating things like this. And of course, depending on how you set your patterns, you can potentially drop more than one item at a time. Just keep in mind, as soon as it touches that pressure plate, it is probably going to activate. So let's go ahead and build the pattern for the lens of color. It's going to look like this, removing the atomic reconstructor. It's a 1-to-1. And then placing this in this slot, we should get the color. Let's go to actually additions, color lens, which is now automatable. Whenever I activate this, it should place the pattern in. At least so I hope. It says it's locked. Oh no. It did place it in. Oh, do I have this? There we go. I clicked it. Apparently it's not supposed to be clicked. It's just in regular mode. And then there it goes. It's automated. So we can do like 10. Let's make sure to request that. Let's do 10 there. So there's one. Ooh, there is a little bit of delay on the pressure plate, which is unfortunate. And I don't have a good way of making sure that that works. Because that was a little too fast, wasn't it? Now, I think I know kind of what I want to do here. Like if I go ahead and drop that back down, let that complete, that should be unlocked. Let's make sure that it's set back to locking. Maybe instead of a barrel and dropping it with this method, as there are going to be trial and error here, we can use a simple dropper. And then on the dropper, we can set a tick delay. And we'll set that tick delay to be like, I don't know, 40 seconds maybe, which it might be enough. The amount to drop is only 1. And with this, we could request up to 60, I think. There's also a pickup delay. The pickup delay would prevent the base item from getting picked up, but this might work a little bit better if I request 10 of them. Let's see, that went 1. The pressure plate's ready to go. Yeah, that drop delay is so much better. Okay, here we go. Just Dire things literally coming in clutch yet again. Now the same thing essentially needs to happen on this side. We're going to have a filter. We're going to be detecting the lens of destruction and sending that right back in, making sure that is set to locking mode, and then going ahead and requesting a pattern for this very thing, taking the lens of color and turning it into the lens of destruction. That is all we need. And now I can request the destruction lens, and let's go ahead and do 10 of those. So perfect. It's going to take that, send it out, and we can see the pulse happening, and it's getting converted and instantly picked up as soon as it's converted. Now for this final craft, we also need to make the lens of the killer, right? And this requires a sharpness 5 book, but that is possible due to the runic enchanter. And so all I need to do is go, hey, let's go ahead and make this particular recipe, remove the XP fluid. There's a sharpness 5 book. And then we just place that in here. And there we go. All the patterns that we are going to need essentially to craft up all the mods star and have them actually automated. This is kind of ridiculous, right? Oh yeah, we also need the lens of certain death. So I got to do one more of those Reconstructor setups, but that's basically all. Oh, and by the way, no wonder I was calling this the lens of destruction. It's the lens of detonation. Oh my goodness, of course. But here we go. Let's go ahead and get the one we need. There's the lens of certain death. Get the last one in, whitelist, set the filter, and voila. Well, that should basically be everything needed, right? Let's remove that, set our pattern, and bam, done. And I kind of wonder what this actually is going to look like. It's going to like go from each other. And yeah, I wanted to separate them out. It does make it a lot easier if you do that. But yeah, there it is. There's the final one being made essentially. I know it sounds way cooler than it actually looks. It does look pretty like meh when you watch it actually happen in the automation. And I mean, it does make a cool noise when it activates, but I have that noise turned off because of the way this farm works. So I guess now's the moment of truth. We have all of that set up, and now all we have to do is simply request a star and then just kind of watch it happen, right? And with all of this stuff, everything that we have, the biggest bottleneck is definitely going to be the enchanter. I can totally see that happening. But the cool part about the enchanter, right, is it uses source, which we have plenty of in here. It's just that this needs to be accelerated a little bit. But when this is accelerated, it starts to work really, really well. And yeah, we should be able to easily keep enough source in here to handle all of the recipes. And then we just sort of sit back and we watch the star be crafted. Yep. Piece by piece, slowly crafting it all. And then this apparently is the final operation here. Yep. I think this is the final bit of the star. Oh boy. That's it. There's automated star production. I am loving this. And as you can see, it literally didn't take that much effort at all after getting all of this set up. Of course, all the effort happened before, but still, I'm pretty excited about being able to automate stars now. Now, what does this mean after we get all of these stars? Like, what is this actually going to do for us? Well, if we take a look at these star blocks, we can actually use them to make things like the creative fluid tank. And once we have a creative fluid tank, we can produce stars very, very quickly, because no longer will we have to worry about the production of blood, aerial, and all of those other aspects. And I believe including source potentially, that actually might be its own thing, but still we can easily store source and produce it in infinite amounts with no problem whatsoever, especially with rainbow coal. But yes, once we have that, it is going to be smooth sailing from this point forward. So I've got a bit of crafting to do. I actually want to craft up enough so we can start that automation process next episode. And I want to see how fast we can actually make this setup and how fast can we actually produce stars next episode when we work on getting the creative items. So if you enjoy videos like this, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And of course, guys, give this video a huge thumbs up. Countless hours have gone into this video and also into this series as a whole. Speaking of hours, if we take a look at the statistics alone, we have put in a total of almost 12 days worth of IRL playtime in here, with only about 8 hours of that actually AFK time, which I did AFK live over on the Discord. So be sure to join the Discord if you haven't already. And well, guys, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that huge thanks is going to go out to Jepatok. I think I said that right. Thank you so much, by the way, for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting me in one of the best ways possible. Guys, thank you all so very much, especially to you who have watched through this whole series. You guys are absolutely the boss. There's still more to come, so be hyped, because we are going to be setting up some of the actual creative items and putting them into use, and hopefully passively producing these all the mod stars. That is going to be my ultimate goal. I want to passive them, and I want to make this very, very fast at doing it. So if this is something you're looking forward to, of course, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.